New updates and a new DLC is coming for Cyberpunk 1, Cyberpunk 2 and Witcher 4 are confirmed in development, and the new animation is coming for the Cyberpunk Edgerunners. Yeah my guys, we got a lot to talk about in this video, so let's dive straight into this news. Despite announcing that 2.2 will be their final update to their first Cyberpunk entry, CDPRojekt has announced that they have a 2.3 update planned. Yeah guys, I played on the 2.2 update and it was amazing. I also have been playing Cyberpunk since it has released, and at launch it was horrible. Honestly, the state it was compared to when it reached the 2.2 update, it was way better. The gameplay was better, performance was better, the revamp that they did on combat and skill trees felt better, so that there was a lot of improvements that should have been there from day one, to be fair, and the game we got at the end is much better. But now it seems there is another update coming. And let's check it out. This might be an indicator that CD Projekt Red has seen the shift in the last years and the impact that the anime had on the franchise, and is now putting more effort into generating hype for their second game. I also believe that they have learned with their past mistakes, and they decided, to announce this update pretty close to when it's already ready to release. This might also be tied to the fact that Cyberpunk is also launching on the Switch too, so these updates might also be related to that. Now talking about Witcher 4, we had some pretty interesting things going on. First, it seems that they released a tech demo for Witcher 4 and the reception was kinda mixed, and I think overall the problem is that's not actually representative of the game, and it's more like the expectation of visual performance. It's a proof of concept of what they expect the overall experience to be, and these performance metrics were done on the PlayStation 5. Honestly, I cannot personally be so excited about the tech demo because I prefer to wait for the actual game to release and see what we will think about it. Come closer to release, we will probably have more gameplay trailers and other stuff that might actually tell us the truth about the game that's going to be released, and not just the idea, just a concept of what they want. But it's still, I would prefer to wait and see what we have for the game instead of actually getting super excited with the trailer. One thing to get excited about is that the main character is Ciri, and obviously that might imply that the gameplay is a little bit different. Ciri was a much more powerful character than Geralt. She had these amazing godlike powers, and the way she fought was much less human-like than Geralt. Geralt had a lot of acrobacy, in his swings and his moves, and he would fluidly move from one enemy to another, but that was still very tied to his humanity and his mortal body. Ciri, on the other hand, she manages to blink and slash, cut enemies in half, and she has these dimensional powers, and who knows what else, because I don't quite recall her story exactly, but I do remember that she has this blood and ability on her to access some type of elder magic that was way more powerful than what the Witchers had at their disposal. So I am very excited for this kind of gameplay that is trying to set itself very far apart from the regular gameplay that we used to have on The Witcher. At least this is what I expect when they had this change of main character from Geralt to Ciri. I'm really excited for the idea of a different gameplay than what Witcher was, and I hope to see that with Witcher 4, and still playing on the strengths of Witcher 3. I'm honestly excited by the choice of the main character. So it seems that PC gamer Josh Wallens had an interview with some people from CD Projekt Red, and this interview is very interesting. They are talking about their perspective on game design and how games like Baldur's Gate 3 and Kingdom Come Deliverance actually have goals that they want to follow for Witcher 4. This gets me really excited, guys. Baldur's Gate 3 and Kingdom Come Deliverance, both the first game and the second game, are games that I have been enjoying, and also past works from Larian like Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2. And I'm really excited that they are paying attention of what make those games good, and that they want to actually apply this to their games. Obviously, this could just be a PR move, these games are highly regarded, so one could say that they are just, improvising and say this to get in the good graces of the public, but it doesn't actually prove that they are following these design philosophies. Also, on the topic of The Witcher 4 development and these tidbits that we get about what's happening behind the scenes, it seems that narrative director Philip Webb also talked about The Witcher 4 development with some people on Games Radar Plus. And he talked about some sort of scrappy energy on the development studio, you know, that kind of energy that he said tries to evoke the same design philosophies they had for The Witcher 3. And I gotta say, that also gives me a little bit excited. What this guy describes over here, at least in my dev experience, which is only working at indie studios, pretty much describes what is the feeling of all the developers excited and they are trying to find solutions, and sometimes you gotta go out a little bit of your expected design function so you can try and find a problem and you can have another department, and that kind of energy is exciting to hear about. I can only hope that this energy extends through the whole development. More importantly, I hope they have job stability. I hope everybody there have a good place that they can work, and I hope this, in consequence, will result in an amazing game and a work of passion, as we have seen with Baldur's Gate 3 and Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. And I really love that they are trying to focus on that energy, and also the energy that led to Witcher 3. In the end, after reading about these interviews, I got a little bit more excited about the game. In a sense, I guess it's actually a little bit good that Cyberpunk had that blunder on release, because it seems that CD Projekt Red actually learned a few lessons that they are applying. I really hope they manage to release an awesome game in the end, and let's see what they will have in store for us. And we will have to wait and see how the game will develop down the line. So now I want to talk about the development of Cyberpunk 2. Yeah, I know it's confirmed that they are doing Cyberpunk. It's not expected to release before 2030, but it's at least already in pre-development. It seems that the game is confirmed to launch on the next console generation, at least for Sony, so let's say PlayStation 6. I have a lot to say about that, but to try and make it short, I really think that, one, they shouldn't focus on launching on double systems as they did when Cyberpunk originally released. If I recall correctly, it tried launching on the PS3 and PS4, right? Or PS4 and PS5, oh my god, I'm so old already. But it tried launching on two systems, the same for the Microsoft Xbox systems, and it was a complete mistake. They were not ready to scale it down to the older systems, and I really expect them to not commit the same mistake. I'm not saying they shouldn't launch the game on consoles, I'm just saying they should launch on the console that's best prepared for it, and not try to make like another version of the game. Make it down the line. Like, there is no point in trying to rush it out like they did with the previous game, and if they do this again, my god, they really deserve all the flack and all the failure and all the bankruptcy. But I don't expect them to do this again, because this is crazy, and they shouldn't do this. This is my whole point. They should just release the game for either the PlayStation 6 and the Xbox 6 or whatever, and make it so. Or if it's set to release on PlayStation 5 and it will run on PlayStation 5, then so be it, release it there. Although I doubt, we just saw confirmation that it's going to release on PlayStation 6. So don't try and make it release on other systems, please. Just make the game, and maybe down the line, like you did a version for the Switch 2, you make the same for Cyberpunk 2, you know? And there's also another question that lurks in my mind. Will they try to do some sort of exclusivity for Sony? I really hope not. I hate when Sony does that, and I hate exclusivity. Honestly, to be fair, I really wish Nintendo would release their games on PC so I could just buy them on PC, but I know this will never happen. I mean, if you're developing a game for the Nintendo Switch or whatever, I know you did the game for that console, so I'm not going to get mad at you because of that. But if the company is already developing a game to run on all platforms and you are here buying exclusivity, I get a little bit mad, I gotta say. Besides that, we probably will see the game only after 2030. Obviously, it will take very long for the game to develop. For the next news about Cyberpunk 2 development, we hear that they are using procedural generation for the development of the second game. And when we hear about procedural generation, I guess at least recently most people will recall of Starfield, and how, compared to Skyrim, and how the curated maps of Oblivion and Skyrim compared to how they were in Starfield is extremely let down. Also the Fallout games, and many blame it obviously on the choice of using procedural generation for generating most of the dangers and main stuff and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't think procedural generation in this case will be used to replace the handcrafted places and scenarios, especially when they are done for either side quests or main quests, you know. I guess most of us RPG players, we love these handcrafted moments and how the camera is positioned in a way that may attract your attention to a place and maybe distract your attention from another place, maybe a monster can come from there. So these handcrafted moments are always great, and obviously procedurally generated doesn't have that touch. It serves another purpose, and from everything that I read here, procedural generation in the Cyberpunk world, especially the developments of Cyberpunk 2, might be used to help in populate the world. Since it's a dense urban area, you are expected to have a lot of elements that if they were all to be designed, handcrafted, and I'm not talking about just repeating a couple of assets, I am talking about really making it so some sort of logic exists and a lot of stuff is pre-made, so they don't have to place every single apartment, you know, decorate every single apartment. So a lot of stuff, a lot of citizens, a lot of models, because you can try and have a team to develop a lot of different people and a lot of different faces, but in the end it will be more logical to develop a program, a way to generate some form of procedural results to fill in the background. When we are talking about procedural generation for Cyberpunk 2, we are expecting that they will use that to fill in the background and help developers focus on the handcrafted areas. So this does not mean like the developers will kick back and they will say, oh okay, we won't focus on doing handcrafted content anymore. Obviously this is the expectation, and I really believe this is the case, at least for Cyberpunk 2. Going back to Cyberpunk 1, it seems that the game is going to receive a new DLC. Honestly, I wasn't expecting that. I thought that the game was going to stop at the first DLC, as they announced it a lot of times. But it seems that a lot of factors might have influenced their decision in this case. Number one, it might be due to the fact that fixing their game actually garnered a good audience and a good player base and restored the trust with a lot of players. Second, it might be due to the fact that the animated series brought in a lot of extra hype to the game. And third, the last success of their last DLC for the game. So I guess when you take all of those into consideration, it kinda became obvious that releasing another DLC might be a good move on their part, especially if they already got some content in the oven that could be adapted to be released. So yeah, I guess we are probably getting a new DLC. So how did people got to this idea? A senior writer at Virtuos had his LinkedIn profile stating that he had worked for CD Projekt Red and he helped develop some side quests for the upcoming DLC for Cyberpunk. That alone was enough to make fans go wild and enough confirmation for the next upcoming DLC. And indeed, it seems as this writer helped develop narrative and other elements for the new quests that are coming with this upcoming DLC. It pretty much seems that this is confirmed, obviously. CD Projekt Red, as far as I know, haven't said anything official, but we are all eagerly awaiting for that. In the article I found talking about this, the writer tells us to not expect a DLC as big as Phantom Liberty. So I actually don't know what to expect. I personally wasn't even expecting more DLCs at all, because I thought they would really stick with only releasing one DLC. This is exciting. I'm really excited for this new DLC, and it will probably be a reason for me to jump back at the game again. Lastly, I want to talk about Edgerunners. Yes! There will be a season 2 confirmed. I loved that season 1. I wasn't expecting at all. It was one of the most exciting game adaptations that I have ever seen. I know Cyberpunk's not exactly a digital game, but whatever. I was really excited about it. At least from everything that I knew from the game, it was super exciting. Everything in that animated series was super cool to me. I'm a huge fan, and there's a season 2 confirmed. Obviously, I will try to refrain from any spoilers, but season 1 ended in a way that obviously doesn't warrant a season 2, at least not in the same setting. but the developers, you know, the makers of this series have stated that they want to work with another story, you know. They don't need to go back and try and make fillers for that story that has already a very satisfying conclusion. I am very excited to see. I think the Cyberpunk world has potential to tell a million different stories. We don't need to stick to the same characters of season 1, and I will be super excited to see what they have in store for us, and all the power to them. I'm very happy that they managed to grab another season, and I know the studio is developing 1,000 of other animations, so I really hope that they have the time to do this properly with a lot of love, care and passion, and I really hope that they are having the time of their lives doing all these animations, because their work is honestly amazing. I might remind you guys that the animated series were responsible for helping give that boost to both to Cyberpunk sales, you know, and also I really believe it helped reach bigger audiences. It's really amazing that they are going for it again, and I'm pretty sure they realize the potential of transmedia, you know, and having the same story being told from different types of media, and that helps them sell everything, you know. The games help the movies, that help the shows, that help the animated series, and everything feeds itself. So that's it, my guys. I hope you have enjoyed. This was a lengthy video talking only about news of CD Projekt Red. I really went deep dive into all these articles and news, and I tried to condense all the information and discuss it here with you. I really love the company, and I was really disappointed by Cyberpunk launch. I will never forget that, but I am really excited to see if they learn with their mistakes. The work that they have been doing to fix Cyberpunk 1 was really exciting, you know. The game was really new after that, the DLC is cool, and I'm really excited to see that they, you know, focus on their strengths, don't repeat their mistakes from the past, you know, the huge blunders, and try to improve on their weaknesses. So that's it, my guys. I hope you have enjoyed. Please leave a like, subscribe, follow me for more. Tell me in the comments what you think about this. Tell me in the comments if you are excited for the new animations about Cyberpunk Edgerunners. Tell me in the comments if you are excited to play Witcher 4, if you think that they should develop Cyberpunk 2 before they are developing The Witcher 4, if you are excited to play with City. I want to know your opinions about it, and I hope you have enjoyed. Have a nice day, have a nice week, and we'll see each other on the next one. We'll see each other on the next gaming news, guys. Bye bye. See you later. Bye bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.